resiliency to fight for what is right. So I ask all of you, first of all, don't see your faculty members as your enemy. We're not your enemy. We're here to teach you the skills that you need in the subjects that you're taking. But we're also here to teach you other important skills. And I'm very happy that Freshman Studies is looking at how we can help you build important academic skills. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Alan Tharp at this minute. But before I end, are there any questions or comments? You okay, Dr. Tharp?
He's on mute. You're on mute.
Unmute yourself. Oh, Lord.
There he is.
Okay.
Representative Coleman,
Yes, sir.
would you go now, please?
Sure. So again, I'm Marika Coleman. I am a professor at Miles College and a special assistant to the president in economic and social justice. I'm very excited about the new role at Miles College. In addition to serving in the Alabama House of Representatives, I'm serving my 5th term. That's about 18 years going into 20 years of serving in the Alabama House of Representatives. So you all know that I was only about 12, 13 years old then when I was first elected, because, you know, surely I'm not that old. This format is different for me. Of course, I wish I could see all of those beautiful students. This is one of the things that I absolutely love about my association with Miles College is having a connectivity with the students and the youth and the energy from all of you all. So we hope that when things are better, we get a chance to do this again when I can feel your all spirit and we can connect. That's what I love. And when I was reflecting on today and looking, I've tagged you, Dr. Agee, and President Knight today in just some years of what this division has done around voting. And I want the freshmen to understand some of the things that we've done in social and behavior sciences. Because of this division on election day, and because of Dr. Alan Tharp, who just handed the microphone to me, we actually have a polling place on our campus when a lot of campuses don't have that. There's a full process that you have to go through in order to get that done. And that was because of his persistence and the persistence of some of our students. Mr. Eric Hall, who is not, he's graduated from Miles College now and has worked at the city with Dr. Agee in another capacity. That persistence is the reason we have the polling place. We've had thought-provoking forums at Miles College around police and community relationships and equal pay for women because of the division of social and behavior sciences. We had all kinds of elected officials on campus. Several years ago, Dr. Agee, I looked at your picture too, from when we had Hillary Clinton on Miles College, because again, of the persistence of our body, our division, and folks that are connected with it, that's saying, hey, if you want our vote, you need to come to our campus and you need to talk to our students. And so many other things that we do in the division. We've had students to go to the White House and do internships. Leah Graves, one of our former students. We've had students currently now. Ms. Nunn mentioned Demas Copeland, who is a student, Lord have mercy. If you want to talk about a student that I enjoyed, he had different values than me. I am definitely lean more to the liberal end. He was a very conservative student, but I love the dialogue that we had in class. But he's with the intelligence department right now. He's in Montgomery. Those are the kind of people that we produce from Miles College. I mentioned in the opening my former student, Dontrell Mosley. Believe it or not, we were in court together this morning. In addition to being a professor at Miles, serving in the Alabama legislature, I'm also an attorney. And so today I got a chance to see, prior to coming here, Dontrell Mosley. And if you want to talk about, I'm going to add another topic, relationships. Dontrell Mosley was my student at Miles College. Then we ended up being colleagues in law school at the same time, where he ended up being my law school president And it's just amazing how you don't know how those connections, how you're going to intersect. On the way out of the courthouse today, I ran into another one of my former students, Assistant District Attorney Tyeria Henderson. She attended Miles College. She went on to Cumberland Law School. Again, she was my student. We took the bar exam at the same time. Relationships matter. And because of that relationship, the first time we were in court together, she called me aside and she said, Ms. Coleman, I need to talk to you about your little boy. This was one of my juveniles that I had, and it's one of my juvenile was accused of a crime. And my former student says to me, because of a relationship, she could come at me this way. Ms. Coleman, your little boy bad. Ms. Coleman, your little boy bad. But we were able to talk that through because we had that relationship. One of the things that she told me too, as it relates to persistence, leaving an HBCU, and of course, and then going to a PWI, you have to find your place again. But it's because of the things that she learned at Miles College as an undergraduate student that she was able to go there and perform well. Dontrell Mosley, the same thing. Two other students I'm going to mention. Another one of my students, I have a 22-year relationship with Miles College. And believe it or not, so I'm a person that I tell my own story because I don't like people talking about me, so I tell it myself. Miles College is one of the longest relationships I've ever had. My relationship started with Miles College when I was 22 years ago, right out of graduate school. I've been married 3 times. So again, this is one of my longest relationships. I'm sorry, Dr. A.G., if I wasn't supposed to go there, but you know, I tell my own story.
It's all good.
One of my longest relationships. And one of my former students, her name is Nikita Blockton. She is Judge Nikita Blockton right now. Took my class back in 1998 at Miles College. Now, when I have a divorce, I have to go before Judge Blockton. So you never know how you're going to intersect again with people. Sheena Matthews, another one of my former students. She called me up a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, I'm working with this national consulting organization. She was here not too long ago with Tom Steyer, who was running for president of the United States. She was one of his consultants. She said, will you record something for me? We're doing a partnership with BET. That's one of my former students from Miles College who persisted. And I'm just excited to be able to brag on those folks and talk about what they learned here at Miles College. And as long as, no matter what your background is, because some of the students I mentioned, and I'm gonna pull Nikita out because she actually mentions this herself. You want to talk about perseverance? Nikita Blockton was a teenage mother. I feel the emotion coming all over me now. She had a baby when she was 16 years old. She had a school counselor in high school to tell her because of that, the odds were against her. And she would not be able to do well in life. Somebody told her that. You want to talk about perseverance? That baby, that child, Alexis, who now just had her 26th birthday, I believe I just saw, was her motivation. She came to Miles College. She was an honor student. She pledged the only sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She went on, ended up being my intern for a while she was studying for law school, graduated at the top of her class, and she is a judge now in Jefferson County, Alabama. She was elected a year when they made national news because we have more African-American female judges now in Jefferson County than most places in the country. That's perseverance. So no matter what background you come from, no matter what other people say about you and what you can't do, you use this experience at Miles College, the connections and the relationships that you get here at Miles College to prove those folks wrong. You can do anything. And I'm excited that 4 years from now that I could come back and have this conversation with another freshman class and be able to brag on one of you that's in this room today and say, hey, I came in contact with this freshman when I first met this freshman. I'm talking about Casey Webb right now. This was Casey Webb. He actually has passed on. When I met Casey Webb had gold in his mouth, pants hanging, did not even know he was going to go to college. Miles College gave him a football scholarship. So he ended up here. By second, third year, I started seeing a little difference in Casey. Casey was the boy again, hanging pants, all of that. Before I know it, Casey had on his, for people who taught him, he wore his blazer or his sweater, his bow tie, pristine dresser. Graduated, ended up being actively involved in Miles College, got into law school until he passed. But I want to brag about one of you right now that is on the Zoom with us right now. 4 years from now, 6 years from now, that I met you at Miles College, and look at all that you have achieved. So with that, Dr. AG, I will stop there. I know I was supposed to talk about voting, but voting also, of course, to me is one of those things that we have to do. You, just like Dr. AG talked with you about the protocol to getting to the president so your voice can be heard. The way that elected officials, people like me and others, hear from you is through your vote. That's how we hear. That's how we know if you like the job that we're doing, if you don't like the job that we're doing. That's how we hear from you. Okay, I told you I wanted you to talk about, crime in my community. I wanted you to talk about the affordability of college. I wanted you to talk about healthcare. You didn't do that, but this other person is. So I'm going to support that. So there's so much value in your vote, especially in this election cycle, with there's so much being at stake. So again, use your voice. Make sure you let elected officials know how you feel about them, but also the issues that you want them to discuss. And you do that through your vote. So get involved, volunteer on a campaign. Some campaigns have paid opportunities as well to work. I know there'll be a lot of them that will have opportunities for people to do things on election day. Get involved in the polity, help elect people that share your value system, that can get things done that you want done in your community. So thank you all again. I hope I didn't go over my time. And Dr. AG, at this point, I don't know if Dr. Tharp is going to come back and say a few things about the division, but I'm very proud to be serving in the division with a chair who encourages us to do things that are outside of the box, like the polling place, like having students go to United Nations, like having our students to come to Montgomery, to get busloads of students to come to Montgomery and actually lobby legislators on constitutional reform. I mean, like, who does that? Miles College did it. And so I want to thank my division chair for giving us the green light with our division to get those students actually actively involved in the polity and engaged in the political process. So I want to publicly say thank you for that, Dr. Tharp.
Thank you. He's still on the call, but I don't see him on the screen anymore.
Now, I've never met a microphone that I, couldn't go on and on and on.
So look at what,
tell you that.
Marika, look at what's behind me.
Yes, that's what I tagged you on that today.
So basically, I could share that screen. So talk about what you guys did then.
Sure. So every year, really, I tagged the president today and Dr. AG back from 2012, from when we were doing Rock the Vote events at Miles College. This is a recent one. I believe this was 2018, once we actually had the polling place on campus. The band was there, the cheerleaders, dance line, all of our student leaders from the NAACP to SGA, and with Black Voters Matters, outside groups. It was a call to action on voting. And so, this is something that we hope to do again this year. Oh, yes, look at that. Hey. Hey. Yeah. Miss Miles was there that year as well. and the students were excited about voting. This is, of course, we're in unusual times because we don't get a chance to connect in the way that we would have done in the past. But we hope that coming up for November the 3rd, that is our election day. November the 3rd, you'll have the president on the ballot. You'll have some amendments on the ballot. I actually have an amendment on the ballot that I've sponsored that removes the racist language that we still have in our Alabama state constitution. You also have some county folks that are on the ballot also. But Miles College, y'all, has always been the mecca for social justice, and not just, Jefferson County, but then in the state. Students, freshmen, you all are on hallowed ground. When I think about the changes that have been made in this country, it was students at Miles College that marched the streets of Birmingham that made a difference. It was students at Miles College that went to jail that made a difference, that put a highlight to the nation that some changes need to be made in Alabama. We want to keep that tradition. Why did Hillary Clinton come here? Why have we had other elected officials come to Miles College? Why did Jesse Jackson come here and so many others? Because they understand the value of the students, having the support of the value of the students at Miles College. On the back, if you can actually see my picture right behind me, there's a picture with Kamala Harris, who is the VP nominee right now on the Democratic side. This is nonpartisan, but these are the pictures. There's a picture here on this side with Michelle Obama and my mom. My mother is in love with me right now because, she got a chance to meet Michelle Obama. The picture there is, of course, with his face is to the side because he was actually talking to me. That's Joe Biden. He was talking to me at that time about the value of women, ladies, women in the role that women play in elected office. And what you can't see right up here at the top, that kind of has a little bit of a glare to it. That's actually President Obama. That is a picture that we took in Birmingham. I served as his co-chair in both 2008 and 2012 for his reelection. But when you talk about relationships, how did I do that? I met him in the Civil Rights Institute when he was doing the same job that I'm doing. I'm a state representative. He was a state senator, y'all. So you never know where these relationships are going to take you. And he was running for U.S. Senate. And I said at the time, I just knew, I don't know what it was. It was about his spirit. That's why I can't wait to meet all of you and feel your spirit. Something about his spirit that I knew he was going to do things. And I told him that day, if there's anything that I can ever do for you, let me know. I didn't know he was going to win a U.S. Senate seat because he wasn't even slated to win at the time. He won. And then, of course, I definitely didn't know he was going to be running for president of the United States. So perseverance, persistence, relationships, they all matter because you literally never know how somebody is going to intersect in your life again. I'm going to put Dr. Agee on the spot. Y'all tell me when I need to stop talking. Dr. Agee and I actually met in 2008. We were both hired at the same time. When I say a 22-year relationship with Miles, I came to Miles first in 1998, and I left for a while, but always stayed connected with the college. But in 2008, remember I told you I was married 3 times, but I was actually going through a divorce and needed to, I needed to see how in the world am I going to support these kids on my own now. And God blessed me with a phone call from Dr. Mishra at the time, who was the division chair. And he asked me to come back to Miles College. And so Dr. Agee and I were hired at the same time because we were newbies and she was new to Birmingham at the time. We hung out some then, just, kind of showing her around Birmingham. Her husband now is my doctor, all of that. But who would have known? Remember, relationships. You don't know how you're going to intersect again. Who would ever know now? She's my boss.
That's right. The first time I ever went to a classic party was with Marika Coleman, and I didn't even know what classic was. I moved here from California, and when I first got here and I got my job, Dr. Misha called Marika and Representative Coleman. He called me too, and I was super excited about this job with Miles College. I just moved here from California, and I was sitting there waiting to talk to Dr. Mishra, and I saw a very good-looking, very well-dressed guy walking into the office, and I'm texting my best friend back in Connecticut. I said, I don't know what's going on here in Alabama, but everybody looks so good and dressed up. I said, I think that was an anchor man that just walked in to the office, and it was Jerome Green. And then Marika Coleman came in. I said, here comes an anchor woman. I was like, what is going on? These people are all dressed up. They look 100% fabulous, and ended up being my colleagues. So I had to up my dress game after seeing the anchor man and the anchor woman come in and do their interviews. So they showed me how it's done. And Marika, she's also made great opportunities happen for students. Dontrell Mosley. Dontrell, you still here?
Yeah, hey,
Oh, Dr. Tharp is here. Okay, I was gonna have, when Dr. Tharp gets done, I want Dontrell to talk about being an intern with at the state house while Representative Coleman was a representative. Dr. Tharp, go ahead.
could I say a word?
Of course.
I wanted to add to what Ms. Nunn and Ms. Coleman have said, and I wanted to emphasize the importance of voting. Historically, we tend not to vote on a regular basis. We don't vote during every election, and I think I'm political. I have a hard time right now being apolitical, neutral. We're at a critical time. Right now, in the U.S. Senate, they're interviewing a woman to become the 9th judge on the Supreme Court. Totally irrelevant to all of us on a daily basis. But the decision she's already made, because she has extensive writing, is going to harm all of us. The Voting Rights Act will be further decimated. It's already on wobbly legs. It will be eliminated based on what she has said in the past. Roe versus Wade will be overturned. You may not favor abortion, but surely most of us favor allowing people to make choices about their health. A lot of things are going to be, the Obamacare is going to be heard again at the Supreme Court. She has written extensively about how that law is unconstitutional. So all I'm saying is this is a really crucial time. People are making decisions we don't know anything about. We don't know who this lady is, where she comes from. We don't know who the members of the Supreme Court are, but they make decisions that affect us. They make decisions that protected us at the state. Our Constitution was a little bit screwed up. That's why we had to have the Bill of Rights added. But one of the things that the more liberal justices in the 50s and 60s and 70s did was they applied the Bill of Rights to the states, because the states was abusing their power and encouraging discrimination and the Jim Crow laws and all like that. And it was a federal court that stepped in that overturned that. And unless we stay active in politics, even though we think it's a dirty field, even though we think we don't have a role, we do have a role. We have a critical role in determining the direction of the country. Every vote you take for local, state, and federal offices is really important. And don't overlook that. It's a part of perseverance, voting all the time and being involved in our community. Community is really important, and we have to be committed to our community. And one way we do it is through voting. Of course, the whole social justice thing is really important too, but right now we're only 2 weeks away from the election. So it's an important part of what affects us, and we don't realize it because it's indirectly. Anyway, Dontrell, do you want to say something before we go?
Yeah. And that picture is Tyara Henderson too, that I was talking about, the assistant district attorney that we go up in court against each other. That's in the
Yes.
picture with us.
And she says, listen, before we have Dontrell get on, I want to say a few things. And Dana, do you want to chime in on any of the, on the rock the vote, any of that kind of stuff? Like Dr. Tharp said, Representative Coleman said, Barbara Nunn said, these matters are very important. Can you put in the chat any of the students that are registered to vote? If you're registered, can you put it in the chat? You're registered, so we'll know that you're registered to vote. And if there's anybody that's interested in still in registering to vote, has the clock run out, or can they still register to vote? Ms. Coleman,
They
Representative.
have until October the 19th. We still have time to get them registered to vote.
Okay, and what link should we put in the chat for students that still need to register to vote? I know I said all the vote. What was the other ones? Oh, Dana's
It's alabamavote.gov. I'm going to put it in there too.
Okay, good.
Alabama
Okay.
votes.gov. And you can register to vote.
And let me tell you something about voting and social justice, and both Barbara Nunn and Dr. Tharp. He is, you know, it's obvious he and I have differences. I'm an African-American woman, he's a Caucasian male, but he is far more militant than me. He believes in reparations for African-Americans. He will call a lie a lie. He is straight and forthright, and he is one of our biggest champions that we ever could have. He says things that he says things that we only whisper. And so I appreciate Dr. Tharp for being that champion. And that's why he's the chair of social and behavioral sciences, because lest we forget where we came from, Dr. Tharp is definitely our biggest advocate. Dontrell, talk about your experience working at at the State House, for lack of a better term. Is it called State House?
That's correct.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Dr. A.G. Thank you, Professor Coleman, former colleague. And I just like to state that going to the State House wasn't a huge or an easy task for me, but I thank all of those who helped me along the way, because it took me a while and it took a lot of trying to get into that position, which was an internship with my professor, an internship that was done through the school. And I was able to do something that I just would have never imagined that I had an opportunity to do. At that time, it was House Bill 56 that was on the voting floor. And I was able to follow that actual bill from the actual committees all the way until it got to the actual Senate. And I would have never learned that process had I went to the House of Representatives for an internship. Moving along with Professor Coleman, she mentioned relationships. Building a relationship during that time was imperative for me, because at that moment, that space and that time, I knew it was time for me to do something that was going to gravitate toward what I'm doing in my future. Here's a person that graduated from high school with a 2.0 and graduated from Miles College with a 3.0 and decided to go into law school to further that. But I would have never gotten any of that had I met the people that I met. And they allowed me to just kind of pull into my future, into what is theirs to be for a Dontrell Mosley or a Don Mosley in his near future. And I like to say thank you, because it's nothing to just do the actual formation of it, but it's also, you have to go back and appreciate the persons that have helped you along the way. So thank you, Dr. A.G.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Professor Coleman. Dr. Thorpe, I really appreciate what you said, because when I was at the State House, I was able to be part of those conversations and part of those issues that have furthered my career down the line.
Great. Thank you for that. Don, Dontrell Mosley. How I know Dontrell Mosley well. I ran a summer program for 300 students. I was up here late night on a weekend doing some paperwork, and I saw a Kappa twirling a Kappa cane out by a car. And I said, listen, you got that kind of energy this time of night. Come here, help me with these folders. So he had to come in and he started helping me with those folders, been helpful ever since. And back to saying that relationships do matter. When I saw a flyer for students to be interns at the State House, I sent down Dontrell Mosley and a few other people. I can't remember. No, yes, I can. Larry is on here, Larry McCree. And then I get a call from Senator Roger Smitherman. I didn't know him. I never met him. He said, "Where's my intern?" I did not know him, but guess what I did? I got Carl Lee on the phone. I said, "Hey, you got to start going to Montgomery." And so not knowing that, Senator Smitherman was a fan of Miles College, and Senator Smitherman, Representative Coleman, who else was down there at the time? Took really good care of our Miles College students. I'm talking VIP'd them and made sure they knew everything they needed to know. So those relationships matter. And then when I was working for the mayor of Birmingham, Mayor Randall Woodfin, they said, "Hey, we need someone that can pass a background check, that's ready to work right now, that can help us in the mayor's office, that, could dress up and be part of the mayor's, advanced team." And that was maybe a Thursday. By that Monday, we had Dontrell Mosley at City Hall. So what they say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And again, another example of those relationships matters when people can make those phone calls. So we had a few students that said that they voted already. And so congratulations. So anybody want to come off mute and tell us what your process was like of voting before we close this out? Anybody that already voted? I know.
While the students are unmuting, I'll speak.
Mhm.
I voted early, and I would definitely say go ahead and get a sample ballot so that you can study the amendments. I've been posting those amendments because that's not what we're talking about. Everybody's been talking about the presidential election only, but it is some other stuff on the ballot. Judge seats on the ballot as well, but particularly pay attention to those amendments. Google them, look at these different sites that we provided and find out the information about those. But as far as the process, it was really easy. I took my license and I went in.
Where did you go?
I went to the Jefferson County Courthouse on the 5th floor. No appointment was needed. I did have to wait a little bit, but it was cool. The wait was great.
Can I add too that there are going to be 2 Saturdays added to vote in person absentee? Because, for people who have to work, I know our students have all kinds of schedule, but Saturday, October 17th, that's this coming up Saturday, and Saturday, October 24th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at both of the courthouses. Now, Miles College, we actually vote, thank you for that. We actually vote in the cutoff so that you would go to the Bessemer courthouse. So if you're on this side of town and this is where you're registered to vote, you go to the cutoff. I want to add one thing. I know we got to go. I have to say this about Barbara Nunn. I hadn't told her this the other night. I had an alum to call me who asked me, do I know? First, he said Dunn. I said, no, I don't have a Dunn. We don't have a Dunn at Miles College anymore. And he said, I said, none. He said, yes, I was in Marion, Alabama, meeting with some other alum. He's on a business deal, he said. And they started talking about the election. And he said, the other person at the table said, oh, I have to vote because Miss Nunn, what I learned in her class, I never miss an election. And so I wanted to also say publicly the impact that you make to our students, because these were not young people. These are people that are late 30s going into 40s that are still talking about what they learned in Barbara Nunn's class and why they are actually going out to vote.
I love her class too.
Thank you. Hello. Can I just add one very quick thing?
Yes.
A lot of times when we're selecting a major, we will say, oh, I ain't into politics. I don't like politics. And I often go back to what the great philosopher Aristotle said, and that is political science is the master science. Everything we do involves politics, whether you live in the dorm, whether you're at the good old Baptist church, everything. So don't blow off this election thinking, oh, I'm not into politics. There are individuals who are seeking office that you do not want. There are amendments that will cripple us. There are people being nominated to the Supreme Court that could possibly throw us back to 1896. And if you don't know the importance of 1896, look it up. So politics, political science is the master science. I like astronomy. Did I major in astronomy? No, but I love astronomy. So get involved, get engaged, and thank you all very much.
Thank you. That I'm never going to forget that. Political science is the master science. It's very important, and really, you're going to see more efforts around get out the vote. Representative Coleman is you're going to hear from her again about things that students can get involved with. We've had presidential and vice presidential debate watch parties that were sponsored by the Student Government Association, and the food was funded by our commissioner, Sheila Tyson, who's often on campus as well, rallying the students, getting them aware about the political process. There's 2 announcements to be made. Can somebody find the flyer for me for the Miles College Week activity so I can put that flyer up? And Brooke Jones, if you could take yourself off mute so that you can make your announcement on behalf of Kevin Keys.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brooke Jones, your freshman class vice president. On behalf of Kevin Keys, I'm just making an announcement to let everyone know that we will be having a Million Man March on this Friday at 12 o'clock in front of Alumni Hill.
Wow. What is that? What is the march about?
I'm sorry, I don't have the flyer in front of me at the moment, but I just wanted to get that out there for you guys.
But they want campus to support the Million Man March that's happening this Friday at noon, you said?
Right.
Okay, good. Thank you for that.
No
And
problem.
thank you for your service as a vice president of a freshman class. That's pretty cool. All right. So any students on this call that are on campus, they're having a walk for breast cancer awareness. You guys know normally around this time, we would have had a big walk downtown Birmingham for breast cancer awareness, but COVID has changed that. Well, the Student Government Association is walking today. Yes, please send me the flyer. Anything you guys want me to post, I will put it up. If you put it in the, you could click file, put it in a file, and then I show it. So they're walking around the track at Sloan Stadium right now. So if you're on campus, you can still make that last hour of that walk around the track. If I'm behind on any assignments that you've turned in, I will get to those assignments this week. And I'll make sure that I update all of your assignments. So Michaela, you're going to put a flyer in there. Will another student talk to us about your process of voting or the ballot? I think Megan, will you talk to us about how it went with you? You're sending off your ballot today. And Michaela, go ahead and send the flyer. Go ahead, Megan.
I am. I actually just filled out my ballot before this class. And then I'm going to send it back to my mother so she can drop it off in person. So, our stuff doesn't get tampered with.
And what state do you vote in?
Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin. Okay. And when you say our stuff doesn't get, you're saying she's going to do it in person to make sure that.
I'm not going to ship it to the actual ballot place, room for error. So I'm going to give it to my mom and she's going to drop it off in person.
Great. Is this your first time voting?
No, this is my second time. The first time was actually on my birthday, and that was in April. So COVID was still going on and we weren't supposed to be voting in Wisconsin. I don't know if anybody heard that, but we still had elections and they had us waiting in these long lines that were wrapped around multiple blocks. So yeah, it was exciting.
Great. That's good. I'm glad that you're doing this. I think this is my son is actually, this is going to be his second time being able to vote. He was registered to vote in Montgomery. He was, he was at Alabama State, so he got to vote for the first African American mayor of Montgomery. And actually, the night that the mayor was elected, he was walking around like, I don't know anybody here. And then he saw Representative Coleman. He said, he was like, I found somebody. He actually said, I found a Jack and Jill mom. So I said, well, just stick with her. And it was represented. When he sent the picture, it was you. I said, yes. It's funny how, students, my kids actually marched in parades for Representative Coleman. You're yellow and black, and they remember having lunch with her and candy and stuff, things that kids remember. So that's a good thing. I got a couple flyers for y'all. Stay with us just a second. One of the flyers is Representative Coleman. You want to tell us what this flyer is?
Sure. I think I'm on mute. Okay, I'm off mute. Yeah, so this is just to promote the 2 days that we're having the in-person voting for. So technically in Alabama, we don't have early vote. So I know everybody's not from here. To get around that, we're having in-person absentee voting. You just had a young lady that talked about making sure your ballots don't get messed with. This is one of those elections where people are afraid that if they send it in the mail, something might happen to it. So this gives you an opportunity to come on a Saturday. The election clerk there, Karen Dunn Burks, her full staff will help you through everything. It's really easy. I keep wanting to call Dana Wu. I'm so sorry, Dana. She just talked about, she admits she's been at Miles a long time, and no disrespect. I respect her so much for all that she's doing in the community and to educate folks. But she just told you all it was really easy. You just need your ID. But these are 2 dates, October 17th and 24th, that on a Saturday, you can go to the new Jefferson County Courthouse, that's downtown Bessemer, if you vote in the cutoff. Unlike other places, Jefferson County is our biggest county, and we are divided in the Birmingham division and the Bessemer division. So on this side of town, we are considered the Bessemer division. Even Fairfield, the city of Fairfield, is considered the Bessemer division. So these are just opportunities for you to go in person. If you are on here and you're local, you live in Birmingham and you don't live in the cutoff, same times, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. to the big courthouse downtown Birmingham. We just want your votes counted correctly, y'all. And the easiest way to do that right now is to go ahead and do that in-person absentee voting.
Thank you. We needed that clarification. And if there's any students that wants to do that and wants to do the in-person voting on those Saturdays, please let Leon Moody know that you are interested in doing that, or let any one of your freshman forum facilitators know that you would like to go and vote, and we'll make arrangements to get you there. And then I have another, let's see, the flyers, the Miles College. This is what we're calling Miles Week. So on Sunday, we had coordination. How many people came to coordination on Sunday? Anybody in the chats? If you're in the chat, say I came. You guys, Mr. Miles did it. I mean, he spoke. I mean, he was awesome. So we were blessed to have that. So right now we have breast cancer awareness walk in the Alumni Stadium track right now until 1 o'clock. We have Mr. and Mrs. Miles game night. Is that tonight? Tonight in the multi-purpose room. Go to these things, you guys. We know that sometimes because of COVID, things can feel isolating and it might feel like effort to get up and go, but we really want you to get up and go to these activities that the students are actually putting on for you. Tomorrow, they'll have Mr. Miles and Miss Miles basketball game. And the outdoor basketball court is 6. And I know that's a popular place. My son's out there all the time. So you guys are going to be out at the basketball court hanging out tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And on Thursday, there's a movie night on the outdoor lawn right here in front of the LRC. So get out, meet some other people, This is what freshman year is about. We know that it's different because it's COVID, but make this your year. Take this year, by the horns and participate in these activities. So thanks to everyone that came. Thank you to Representative Coleman, Barbara Nunn, Dr. Tharp. We're so excited that you guys were here and part of the experience. I'm going to go to chat, make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, that's right. Kayla Cowan, she was in the coordination. She was one of the queens. That's right. Kayla, what was your role as the as one of the campus queens? What was one of your roles? Tania was there. It was beautiful.
Miss Living Learning Communities.
Okay, she was Miss Living Learning Communities. That's right. And Naomi was Miss First Year Enrichment. Brooke Jones said she came. Oh yes, all campus, any students that are on campus, any freshmen in the Birmingham area, we're gonna have a freshman class meeting tomorrow in the gym at 11 o'clock. So we wanna get every freshman there. My staff will tell you, you guys you have any idea how you're so important to me. So that's why I'm personally on these calls every single week. Haven't missed one yet. Even that time I had another appointment, I made it on here. We want to see every single freshman tomorrow in the gym. We're going to have important information. We're going to give you guys a hookup. We're going to tell you, all the things that you need to know and get to know you so we can better serve you. So we're going to have a meeting tomorrow with all freshmen in the gym at 11. Okay, thanks everyone. Any other announcements before we go? Kayla, send us a picture, Kayla, and I'll put your picture up from coordination. If you put a picture in the box. You're Miss Live and Learning Communities. If you have a class, Michaela, we don't have any classes at 11 o'clock. So
That's
11
it.
o'clock.
I wasn't able to take any pictures.
Oh, I might have one then, because I was in the front taking pictures. So I'll look at my phone and I'll see if I have a picture of you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, okay. All right, so a love and a wish, if I could just get a student to take themselves off mute and tell us something that you loved about today's presentation and something that you wish about today's presentation. Any students that want to do that? There's 5.
I would say that.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, I was gonna say, I like that. Like every graduate from Miles College, they got like some type of history behind to like where they came out successful and end up doing their own thing. Like with the women, being what you call it, a judge.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. There's a few judges. You got Judge Nikita Blockton, Judge Naya Parsons Hudson. There's probably a few judges that are. The district attorney has a Miles connection. I know he went to Alabama State, but he went to Miles College Law School. Danny Carr. He would come on at any time and talk to you guys. You got a lot of judges. That's great. Thank you for sharing that, Marcus Speakman. Anyone else want to share something that you've taken away from today?
I have a question about the absentee voting.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so so this is what happened. So over the weekend, I filled out an absentee voting application and I sent it to Columbus, Georgia, because that's where I'm from. So I was wondering and today somebody knocked on our room door. It gave me my voter information and where I need to vote at. So I was like, so what do I need to do?
Representative Coleman, you want to take that?
Yeah, I'll take it. So if you are still registered back home and you have not changed your voter registration, that is the absentee that you sent. What that person probably was bringing to you was if you had actually changed your voter registration to your dorm room where you would have to vote. That's probably what happened. And I hope you all can hear me because the system keeps going in and out. Now, if your ballot hasn't been on it back home yet, some states have like a tracking system. You do still have time to change your ballot to Fairfield. You have time until October the 19th. We put the link in to change.
Okay, it seems like it's frozen. I don't know if it's just frozen on my side, but she said the link is in. Let's find the link again and grab it. Okay. Where was she in her conversation? Anybody know? We lost her. Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, for some reason
there
I
she
got
is.
turned off and then it came back. But again, if you want to vote in Alabama, you have time until October the 19th. But I would track that ballot. Let me tell you why. It is a federal crime to vote twice. That is a federal crime. I don't know if you all pay attention to the news when the president told people to send their absentee ballots in and then still try to go vote. That's a federal crime. So you want to track your ballot where you sent it to at home to see if indeed it made it. What I want you to do though, let me put in the chat, I'm going to put my direct email, because what I'd like to do is find out more from you to see, did you actually do an absentee ballot itself, the full ballot, or did you just make application? So I'm going to put my personal email in the chat and I want you to send me more detail.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. I think that was time well spent. Thanks, everyone. Next week, we're going to invite Dr. Woods back, Natural Sciences and Mathematics. Don't forget to go ahead and register to vote if you're not already registered. Let us know if you need any assistance with that and participate in the Miles Week activities. We'll be updating your grades this week so that they'll be all updated. And if you have any trouble, whatsoever, don't be afraid to reach out to us and let us know what help you need. And then did we get Alina Kuntz taking care of, Dorian?
Yes.
Okay, good. And we'll have an all freshman meeting tomorrow at 11. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, you too. Bye, sweetheart.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.